Good morning. Today, what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk to you about my Brazilian 1908 project that I had. The When I bought the rifle, it was sitting on a small little stock, one that had been cut off and not even cut off all that good. Um, they When they sporterized it, what they did was they also cut the stock itself because it had one of those big. Everybody has seen those big ugly orange butt plates, butt pads that they put on rifles in the sporterized rifle. And so I decided when I bought it that what I was going to do was I was going to rebarrel it. And I wanted to rebarrel it and because the barrel had been cut down to 24 inches. And I wanted to make it back into a long rifle, which was a 29 inches. And I went out and I bought a barrel for it. The and then I put it up at my gunsmith friend's shop. I said, when you get to it, if you would please change the barrel out for me. I didn't have a Brazilian barrel at the time. I had an Argentinian barrel. The difference is that the Brazilian Mauser is in 7.7 by 57 cartridge, whereas the Argentinian round is a 7.6 round. So, but it would work and it would have been fine, and I would have been the first to do that. So I went out and I bought the stock, and I bought all the hardware that went with the stock because there was none, because it was a sporterized gun. And I waited and waited, and my gunsmith had some problems with some things, and he never got around to it. So he's in Florida now, and he just didn't get to it, and that's fine. I mean, I realized that he was very busy and he had a lot of things to do. So I took the rifle back, and I thought to myself, what would be perhaps a more adventurous way of dealing with this rifle. So I started looking into it, and I found out that the Brazilian short rifle, the 1908 short rifle, the barrel was 23 and a quarter inches, I guess, 23 and a quarter inches, and I had a 24-inch barrel. So I thought, well, I'll make my own short rifle is what I wanted to do. So what I've got is my own rifle that I manufactured here. The Brazilian receiver and the Brazilian matching barrel are really in the magazine. Were really the only original things on this. That the rest were stuff that I had gathered together and put on. The 1908 Mauser for the Brazilian was it's a contract from Germany. They contracted Germany to make the Mausers. Soon after 1908, when they started, they decided these were good things. They wanted more, so they made out another contract to last until whenever. But the problem was that and that would have started in 1911. But the problem was World War I came along, and Germany no longer made Mausers for people. They made Mausers for themselves. This is a 1908. I know this is from the first contract because on the side here, the serial number has a letter underneath it, and the letter is a C. And we talked before about how serial numbers used to be done on these older guns, where they would go up to 9,999, and then they would flip it over and then make it 9,999A, and it would go on up to the alphabet. The original contract came out and they just put single letters on it, whereas the second contract, the one that started in 1911, they would put double letters on it, and this only has single letters. So it's from one. So I figure it was made somewhere between 1908 and 1911, and because it's a C, I think that it was probably closer to the 1908 than the 1911. On the side here, and I'll include a picture. I know you can't probably see it. I guess you can. And what it talks about, it's Deutsch Waffen, and it was made in Germany by the DWM company, and they made some. Well, obviously it was German engineering, so it was obviously yeah a good fit for the Brazilians in their 7mm. So let's go over my gun here because it's kind of a Frankenstein. So what I've got here is the butt plate. This is not the Brazilian short rifle butt plate. This is a butt plate that came with the stock for the, which is a Belgian 1930 rifle stock. The Brazilian fit in there with just a few minor changes that I had to make on it to make the action fit inside inside the stock itself. I it, part of it was that the holes were off just a little bit, so I needed to extend this hole out here so it would fit. The bolt on it is it's a weird shaped bolt. It kind of you can see it curves and does this. So the regular stock for the 1930 Belgian wouldn't allow the bolt to close because it was straight across here. So what I had to do was I had to take and I had to hollow out an area here so that the bolt would close. I think, well, even the original, uh, the 1908 short rifles had an area where they had cut, it was a square area that was like this, and so that the bolt could close. So it wasn't something that was unique for me to put on this gun. So now because it was a sporter, you can see screw holes, which I put screws in. And the screw holes, they had a scope on there. Didn't come with the scope, but it had the holes for the mounting of the scope that would tap and die. So I closed those up as best as I could, and they really aren't that noticeable. Because they put a scope on it, one of the things that they did was they took the sights off. So I had to buy sights. This is an original 1908 rifle sight. It's a graduated sight, just like so many of the others at the time, that it goes up and it goes out to 2,000 yards. So the band, I bought the band. The one thing that it's missing is it's missing a handguard. I need to buy a handguard for it. That's the last piece of the puzzle is with the handguard. Up here you have your Mauser um, forward band. Because when the rifle, when they sporterized it, they cut the end off. When they cut the end off, they left the barrels thicker there than it would be if it was a full barrel. So in order to get this band on, because the barrel's thicker, I had to get out the Dremel and I had to hollow out a little bit of the band itself so that it would slide over the top, and it I mean it's fine. It's underneath you have the bayonet lug. The bayonet lug is actually, I think that the lug came off of the original 1908, so it's the bayonet lug. Now the front sight had the same problem because the barrel had been cut. This was thicker, and the front sight that's on a band would not fit on there. Me, and I should have known better because I guess I should have known better. Decided what I was going to do is I was going to sand the end of the barrel down. I had it all measured out, and I had a little contraption so I could sand and have it come out even, so it wouldn't be, you know. So I kept at that for about 3 or 4 days, and what I had to take off was um, 5/100ths of an inch, which is a lot. And I think after those 3 days, I took off very little. I think I took off 6/1000ths of an inch, and so I couldn't figure out what I was going to do. And one of my friends had come over and saw what I was doing and looked like I was just polishing the end of the barrel. He said to me, "Why don't you just cut it?" put it on, and then once you get it on, you can seal it. Once you get it secured on there, then you can seal it, and nobody will notice the difference. And I was really skeptical about doing that, but I really had no choice on what I was going to do with the sight. So what I did was I did cut it, and you can see here where I sealed it back up again. I used some JB. One thing about JB is JB. I didn't know that, but it looks like it blued a little bit with the cold bluing, so you really don't notice it at all. And even if you wanted to notice it, the cleaning rod sits right over on top of it, so you wouldn't really notice it at all. So what I've got here is kind of a bastardized version of the Brazilian short rifle. All I need is the handguard, and I'm sure that once I get the handguard, I'm going to have to do something with this band. It looks like it's it doesn't look like it's got a whole lot of room there. So between messing with the band and messing with the groove for the handguard, I think that it'll turn out pretty good. I mean, I think it turned out pretty good already. Considering what it was looking like when I first got it, it was that little stock and the barrel stuck way out, and even though it was only a 24-inch barrel, it just did not look good to me. And this, although it's not a true short rifle, is at least more. Well, I had to put the coin on, the unit identifier on also, but at least to me, it fits into my collection better than the deer rifle, sporter rifle that was on there before. So that's what I've been working on, and it's a beautiful rifle. It's got the polished steel receiver and action, and it's very smooth. It's very smooth, and that's about it. I just wanted to show you guys what I've been doing, and this is one of those ones that I'm really kind of proud of because I've used a bunch of different spare parts to put this thing back together again, and I'm sure that it's going to fire great I could fire it now if I wanted to, and it's going to fire great. The sight, I did some calculations and came up with the height of the sight. I'm trying to learn how to do that. That's a very complicated maneuver to get that done. So I won't know till I get out to the range to know whether or not that I need to raise or lower the size of the sight that's on there. There's a whole formula for it, and with measurements, you have to measure the inside of the barrel. You have to measure the height of your rear sight and the height of your foresight and all that stuff. And to be honest, I haven't really gotten it right yet, but there's always the first day to do that. So I'll have plenty of time to mess with it. And anyway, well, thanks for watching.